What time is it?
Tea time!
Booyah!
Feels good. Feels good to be back. I know I've been gone for a while, since February in fact, but it is episode 25. New job's kind of been taking me away from the mic a little bit, but hey, we got some things to talk about. Instead of doing a rewind, we're just going to push forward because we have two topics that are huge right now. That's NHL, that's NBA, that's the Vegas Golden Knights, that's the Washington Capitals, that's LeBron James going to his 8th straight title, and the debates couldn't be any hotter of MJ versus LeBron. So those are the basic things we're going to be covering. But first off, got to give some hockey love. As it's a known fact, I became a hockey fan a couple years ago when I started helping out on the Oregon Ducks hockey broadcast. And then I decided I need to have my own team to root for because I started watching hockey. And I really didn't want to be a bandwagoner. Well, then the Vegas Golden Knights were announced. And I decided to jump on that bandwagon because anyone who's a Golden Knights fan right now who doesn't live in Las Vegas is a bandwagoner. Now, I did proclaim it before we even drafted a guy. I did not think we were even going to sniff the playoffs. I figured, I probably have 3 years of being a fan of this team before we really start doing something. Boy, could I not be more happy to be wrong. My Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup final, their first year in existence, making them the greatest inaugural season in sports history. Only other team I can think of that is on this level and maybe even bigger is Leicester City winning it all their first year moving up in division soccer over in Europe. This is a little bit different. This is hockey. But in the inaugural season, the Vegas Golden Knights will play for the Stanley Cup. And I couldn't be more excited. And I know there's probably a lot of other people that aren't so excited because they're probably wondering what in the hell. I got some good friends who are very into hockey, just not understanding what in the hell happened. And even me, I mean, as a good friend told me, you can't win the Stanley Cup in October when they started off in an amazing pace. Well, they can win the Stanley Cup right here in June and May. So, yeah. And then the Washington Capitals, the choke artists of the century who haven't been able to get out of their division in the playoffs, get to the Eastern Final, win Game 7, put it all on the line. Now Alex Ovechkin is going up against Marc-Andre Fleury, who has just all postseason been telling the Penguins, you made a mistake. I still have something left. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Already has 4 shutouts. And it's exciting. Of course, I'm all in rooting for the Golden Knights. I know a lot of people are rooting for the Capitals because they haven't been there. They've only been there one other time. So no matter what, we're going to have a new Stanley Cup winner, which will be great. And it's going to be a great series. I'm going to be watching that game with some friends and hoping for the best. And if I put my feelings aside, I still think Vegas is going to win. I think Vegas is going to win in 6. I really do. But like I said, my hockey knowledge is very limited. I'm very new to the sport. But if I've learned anything is you ride the goalie that's playing the best, and hands down, that's been Marc-Andre Fleury and everybody else. So I'm going to ride my Golden Knights to the end. I believe they're going to win. I hope they're going to win. And I'm going to be rooting for them hard. Stanley Cup playoffs. Can't be more excited for tomorrow when it all starts. But then, now, we have the NBA to talk about, which hasn't been a great playoffs for me because well-documented Blazers fan over here, and we got swept. 3 seed that got swept, and that sucked. That sucked really bad. It hurt me. It hurt me so bad. But nonetheless, We got outplayed, we got beat, we got swept, we deserve to be out. So the rest of the playoffs has kind of just been enjoying basketball, watching as a fan. And it's been an interesting playoffs, especially now that we're down to the final four, and we'll be down to the final three, or we're down to the final three after tonight, and we'll be down to the final two tomorrow, and we'll know who'll be playing. And we already know one half of the final that is playing, and that is out of the East. The King, LeBron James, and this Cavs team have pulled through past the Celtics, a depleted Celtics at that. But they made it. No one thought they could get there, but they did it, and they did it in impressive fashion. But before we dive deeper into that, let me tell you about Auto Service Express. Yes, I'm still talking about Auto Service Express because that's still the only place I go to get my cars worked on. Tom Radican, owner, runner, best mechanic I know, will take good care of your car. He'll let you know what you need, how much you need to pay for it, and he'll get it done right the first time, and you won't need to go back, other than for a nice oil change and some fluids flushed. So talk to Tom. They're off Mohawk Boulevard, Auto Service Express, if you want your car worked on correctly and right. But going back to the NBA playoffs now, we have Warriors Rockets, and we had Celtics Cavs. First, we'll start with Warriors Rockets. I picked at the beginning of the season the Warriors to win the whole thing again. I didn't see anyone stopping them. We got to the playoffs. I still picked the Warriors to win the whole thing. And the Warriors went down 3-2 with a game at home, and they forced the seventh game. And even before that, I have not wavered. I still think the Warriors are going to win the whole thing because that team is stacked. I do not believe in the Rockets. I saw them lose games to teams they shouldn't have. I've seen them blow 30-point leads to bench warmers. I just don't believe in the Rockets. I will say the Rockets have thoroughly impressed me. But now no Chris Paul, no shot. Chris Paul wasn't an equalizer, but he made them good enough to hang with the Warriors. And they've gotten a little bit in the Warriors' heads, and they've pushed them farther than the Warriors wanted. But the bottom line is they're not going to do it. I will gladly eat those words if the Rockets pull through. But the Rockets aren't going to pull through. James Harden's not going to have enough to beat them. Clint Capella can't be everywhere. Their role players is going to have to step up in an even bigger way. Because when getting Chris Paul, getting those two superstars, those two elite players, it allowed it to be two guys need to be guarded. Without one, the other's not going to do so well. And that's what's going to hurt the Rockets. They're going to come up short here. The Warriors, I would not be surprised if they pummel them. I don't think they will, but I would not be surprised. But not having Iguodala has hurt the Warriors. But would be the most Warriors thing for Chris Paul to be out, Iguodala to be in, Warriors at full force with everything on the line, and them just snub the Rockets out early and run away with the game and go to compete for their third straight rematch with the Cavaliers. Or fourth straight rematch. Actually, I think this would be their fourth straight match. Because Warriors won 2. Yeah, Warriors won 2, Cavs won 1. But now going to the other side, LeBron got past the Celtics. A Celtics team that they traded Kyrie Irving to and then got rid of the only two real pieces they got in that trade. And then Kyrie and they picked up Gordon Hayward and they're both out. So the two best players on the Celtics made a nice run. They played as a team. That's what made them get so far. They played well. They didn't give up anything at home until this last game. And LeBron has been great the whole playoffs. And they earned their way to this final. They absolutely did. They earned their way. They played like they're supposed to do. They won the games they're supposed to win. And LeBron James has still been the best player in the NBA. And as far as I'm concerned, if I had a gun to my head and I had to pick someone to win MVP, I put LeBron 2 behind Anthony Davis, only because Anthony Davis lost one of the best centers, if not the best center, and Boogie Cousins, and then made the playoffs and swept the first round and gave the Warriors a little bit of a run. I probably pick AD because he had a really impressive year as well. At a certain point, when we get to the top three guys, stat-wise, I mean, when three guys at their position are stats beyond above everybody else, it's kind of hard splitting hairs at that point, and I don't necessarily use stats. I just take what was more impressive, and the fact that AD took his team to the playoffs when they were actually not in the top 8 seeds. When Boogie got hurt, the fact that they found their way and they got to the 6th seed, to me makes Anthony Davis the MVP. But I would have no issue if LeBron gets it. I don't want Harden to get it, but it's probably going to be Harden to get it. I mean, he did leave his team to the top record, and he had a phenomenal year. Bottom line, and he's been number 2, last 3 years? Twice behind Curry, once behind Westbrook. Like, he's just been there, just like LeBron's been lingering there. But ultimately, what LeBron did was impressive. Now, here's the part some Cavs and LeBron fans are going to hate that I'm going to say. If you truly think, like they've been saying, that half that game after LeBron and them beat the Celtics, who did not have their 2 best players. They're not a bad team without them, but they're sure as hell not a great team without them. This is not the greatest achievement LeBron's had, getting this team to the final. This is not even the worst team he's played on. This is not the worst team he's been in the playoffs with. People go back and say that first team that he went to the finals with the Spurs, where he had no business being there, they say that team was the worst, but this team's worse than that because that team played great defense. Yes, that team did play great defense, but all I have to say is one name, and automatically this is not the worst team LeBron's ever had. Kevin Love. When you have a perennial all-star next to you, your team is automatically at least good. If you have 2 guys who are perennial all-stars on all-star teams that only take 15 guys each, 30 total out of 30 teams, guess what? It's not the worst team he's played on. It's not a great achievement or marveled achievement for him getting this quote-unquote team to the final. It's not. And I always hear, no one wants a participation trophy. Well, that's basically what you're giving LeBron right now. Stop it. Just stop it. It's a participation trophy to make it to the final and lose. Losses in the finals do not matter in the same way wins do. It does not. It really doesn't. And if you think it does, that's just you making up excuses. It matters when you get there and you win. Yes, it's impressive getting there. 8 years in a row is nothing to scoff at. But the problem with his 8 years in a row is he's 3-4. He's lost more than he's won. If it counts getting there, it also counts to lose. And that's where the MJ LeBron debate for who's the GOAT has gotten more intense, especially recently, because this is not a great Cavs team. I'm not trying to say this Cavs team was better than the Miami teams he played for, because, let's face it, they're not. And they're not better without Kyrie. They're not. I'm not trying to say they are. But this is not like the worst team he's ever played on. And I honestly don't think it's worse. Just because the team he had before knew how to play defense makes this team less. You realize no one plays defense in the NBA right now. Like, in all honesty, how many teams are truly great at defense? I can probably name one. And they're on the other side in the Warriors. That's part of the reason why they keep winning and going to the finals and winning the finals, is because they not only are great offensively, they're a great defensive team. So calling this team the weakest he's ever had, and it's the greatest accomplishment of his career, I don't know. He did hoist up 3 championship titles, 2 in a row with the Heat. That's pretty impressive. Not to mention the one he got for Cleveland, which Cleveland hasn't had one. That's pretty impressive too. But making it to the finals with this bunch, yeah, no, you're right. That is his greatest accomplishment. You're totally right. If only, MJ had an accomplishment like that. He truly would, there'd be no argument if he took that Wizards team to the final and lost, right? No, that's not how that works. Making it to the finals with a team that doesn't deserve to be there doesn't necessarily make you great. That just makes you had a great season. That's just how it is. But before we get into a little MJ LeBron debate, let me tell you about Oregon Grown. I've talked about them before. A good buddy of mine, James Lee, started this company. It's apparel, it's hats, it's all that cool stuff. Car decals. It's for all those guys and girls who are Oregon grown. Oregon boys and girls. They're great apparel, high quality, and it looks good. Trust me, I own some things. I love them. I'm Oregon grown. My kids are Oregon grown. My wife is technically Illinois grown, but we converted her. She's an Oregon girl now, and she loves it here. So definitely check out the website, or-grown.com. I repeat, or-grown.com. You'll enjoy your purchase. Now, let's get back to MJ v. LeBron. It's well known that I am Team MJ. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I've heard good arguments for LeBron. I heard bad arguments for LeBron. I've heard everything under the sun. And I believe I am a lot more subjective than most. I do believe LeBron is number 2. I don't believe it's as close as some make it, but it's close enough that he's number 2. And I don't know if LeBron will ever surpass MJ. I don't know if he won't crush MJ by the end of his career. I'm going to give you the blueprint of how LeBron can become the GOAT. But I'll save that for after this little rant here. But MJ is the GOAT. He played in a different era, which makes this argument tough. And the argument I hear a lot is how many times Michael lost and didn't make it to the finals. Because LeBron has made it to the finals a lot of times. 8 total. 8 straight. 1 earlier, so 9 total now. So, my bad. 9 total. 8 straight. And he's done it in a very impressive fashion. He has done it with lesser teams than Michael. I'm not afraid to admit that. He has beat, if you put all the teams up who LeBron has beat in the finals, he's by far played the best one. But he's also played the worst one. That Dallas Mavericks team had no business beating him. 0. You can't give LeBron credit for going if you can't dock him for losing. It all counts. All of it. Michael went 6-0. LeBron's gone 3-5. Probably 3-6. If things happen the way I think they're going to happen. And LeBron's also been dismantled a couple times. The Spurs swept him. The Warriors almost swept him last year. The Warriors might sweep him this year. And people always point to, well, MJ had Pippen. MJ had Horace Grant. MJ had Rodman. Well, guess what? Do you know why I don't allow that to be a real excuse? Because Michael got lucky. Sometimes you need a bit of luck. Do we hold it against Tim Duncan that he was on the same team as David Robinson, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, who were all drafted by the Spurs? Pippen was drafted by the Bulls. Why are we holding it against MJ that he played with Pippen when he literally had no control over it? Yes, they got him Rodman. But they drafted Horace Grant. They drafted Scottie Pippen. Yes, they went and got Ron Harper. But stop talking about Ron Harper like he's the next thing. That was great. He's an equivalent to George Hill that the Cavs went and got this year. Same with Steve Kerr. And LeBron had to leave Cleveland to win, and he joined up with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer. He's arguably the number 3 shooting guard of all time. But a common argument that Team LeBron fails to leave out is that he did that. And they just go, well, Jordan had Pippen. Yeah, but Jordan had Pippen because they drafted him. Get mad at LeBron's GMs. Get mad at GM LeBron. Like, LeBron orchestrated this current Cavs team. He went and joined Kyrie. He wanted Wiggins to be turned into Kevin Love. He wanted these moves. This moves at the trade deadline they did this year. This is what he wanted because it wasn't working with the team he had. If you're going to hold things against Michael, you got to hold them against LeBron. You have to hold it everywhere. LeBron has had help. Is this team LeBron on now better than Jordan's? No, because Jordan's team was constructed better. But LeBron helped construct his team. And the bottom line is, you can't just look to every single thing and just be like, yes, no, yes, no. There is a gray area. LeBron plays great defense. He hasn't lately. I mean, he makes these great blocks, a couple of them that should have been called fouls by the rules of what the NBA is now. But name that Hall of Fame team LeBron had to go through to make it to the finals outside of the Big Three Celtics, which he didn't have to face his whole career in the beginning. Like, Big Three Celtics were done when he went to Miami. So how long did that really take? And the Big Three Celtics were only together, 4 years? How long were the Bad Boy Pistons around? Like, seriously, there's a lot of Hall of Famers that MJ had to go through. LeBron, not as many. I mean, we won't know. That's one of the biggest problems with this argument, is we don't know because LeBron's still playing. We can easily point back to MJ's career. He played this Hall of Famer. He played that Hall of Famer. He played this great team. He played that great team. We have no idea how good this Sixers team is. We have no idea how good this Celtics team is going to be. We have no idea how bad that Raptors team was. Like, there's teams we don't know where they're going to rank in history. That Big Three Boston Celtics team, they only won one title. They only went to 2. So really, how great was that Big Three Celtics team? They had 3 Hall of Famers on it. But we didn't know Ray Allen or Paul Pierce were going to be a Hall of Famers when that team was put together. We knew KG was. That's part of the problem. And some people are saying, well, that Warriors team he lost to had 4 Hall of Famers. Hold the phone. No, they don't. They have 2. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. That is it. Stop acting like Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are locks. They are far from locks, especially Klay Thompson. What has Klay Thompson done to earn a Hall of Fame bid? He played on the Warriors? Is that what he's earned? Because he's there? Well, why aren't we putting Derek Fisher in? Robert Horry. He's there. Yeah, he's better than those 2. But being good doesn't make you great. Really doesn't. Like, is Klay Thompson by the end of the line, is he going to be a top 5 shooting guard of all time? Not better than MJ. Not better than Kobe. Not better than Dwayne Wade. Not better than Reggie Miller. And he's not better than Ray Allen right now. And I'm sure I'm forgetting names somewhere. But am I saying they can't become Hall of Famers? No. Like I said, by the end of this 10 years from now, when all these guys are retired and gone, we could be saying, man, LeBron had to face 4 Hall of Famers. Or we could be saying, man, LeBron faced 2 Hall of Famers on that team. So did Jordan, Stockton, and Malone. And those Spurs teams, he faced them at the end of the line. Timmy Duncan was not in his prime other than that first one in 2007. And they got swept. Parker, Duncan, Ginobili, Boris Diaw. Those guys, they were after their prime. And he split them 1-1. And if it wasn't for Ray Allen 3, he would have went 0-3 against the Spurs. Like, everything tips so easily. Just imagine if Ray Allen never left that Celtics team for the Heat. Imagine if LeBron hadn't gone to 8 finals in a row. What would the argument be then? Because I could show you stats that show people actually do not get better under LeBron. I could show you, like, the big difference that MJ does that I don't think LeBron quite always does. MJ does not make his team better, but he gets the most out of them. He gets the most. He wills them and drives them. But go back to that bulldog attitude, which LeBron, has definitely had a lot better. But I know what I want to hear. I want to hear LeBron jab J.R. Smith in the eye in practice, telling him, get your ass down, play some defense. That's what I want to hear. Because MJ jabbed Steve Kerr in the eye because that's how much he cared about winning. That's how much he wanted his team to be great. Yeah, LeBron's a nice guy. And I'm not saying he doesn't have that killer instinct. but I don't want to hear some mean streak come out of him. I want him to show that he can be the GOAT. Because the biggest problem LeBron has chasing Michael Jordan is he's chasing a ghost. The ghost of Michael Jordan is a thing. And if he's chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan, he will never catch it. Because what is a ghost? It is a mythological being of the undead that are no longer around, that some people take their whole lives to try and find and discover and never do. The ghost is real because we saw Michael do things. We saw Michael beat people. We saw Michael be great. And something that Team MJ probably won't admit, but there is this thought in the back of every Team MJ's mind. Michael left for 2 years. He won 3, left, came back and won another 3. Let's picture this. Imagine Michael doesn't leave. And Michael goes to 8 straight finals. Let's say he doesn't win the middle 2, but he goes to 8 straight. Then how great is LeBron's 8 straight now? How great is it? Is that an argument to use against Michael? That's what's in people's head. Well, they may never use the argument, well, if Michael would have not have left for 2 years, he would have went to 8 straight. Because you could logically believe they would have. And that's the point. He's chasing a ghost. And all that's going to happen when you chase the ghost is you're never going to find it. But I have the blueprint. I can tell you how LeBron can be the GOAT. Yes. I will say LeBron's the GOAT if he does these things I'm about to tell you. The blueprint for LeBron to be the GOAT in my opinion. But first, if you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, as you know, Tea Time with Trenton has their feed. But we started a debate sports page, and you should join. Look up the Sport Gauntlet on Facebook. It's a group of guys. We love to debate. There's everyone from everywhere in the sun. You know, the people who are wrong, like Cowboy fans. Sorry, Tyler. And then the people who are infatuated with the Patriots, like Emmy. And it's good, friendly debate. And it's a lot of fun. We post funny stuff. We bring up random topics. It's a cool little sports page to debate it. If you want to throw down the gauntlet, come join. But back to the point case. Here's the blueprint for LeBron. He successfully does this blueprint in some form. I will announce him as the GOAT. I will address him as the GOAT. I will say he is the GOAT. Yes, me, Team MJ my whole life. This is what LeBron needs to do. He needs to go to and win to at least 2 more titles. He doesn't need to get to 6. Because if he goes to at least 2 more, and he could win this one. I don't think he is, but say he wins this one. Then he only needs to go to 1 more and win 1 more, in my opinion. Because that will put him at 11. Double-digit finals. And he's going to have a 20-year career, which means he's spent more years in the finals than not. That's the first step. And the way he does it is he needs to call up Kevin Durant and join up with him. Oh, yeah. The 2 guys that snuffed their teams in the biggest ways this generation, this last century, decade, whatever, they need to team up. And they need to go to one of 2 franchises. They need either A, need to go to the Clippers, which obviously would be very hard to win. I would avoid that one. But they should be going to the Clippers or the Knicks. Reason why? Both have good enough point guards. Both have an all-star center. If I was them, I'd pick Knicks first. But they need to join up, go to the Knicks, team up with Porzingis, team up with Frank Ntilikina, or however the hell you say his name. 2 Hall of Famers. Yes, I'm not going to hold it against LeBron if he gets a Hall of Famer. Go do it. You want to be better than Michael? You want to be considered the GOAT? You need wins. You need to win in the finals. You team up with Durant does two things. One, give you the best running mate you've ever had. And two, significantly weaken the Warriors, who is your biggest roadblock. Enough with this whole, I can team up with other people and we can beat the Warriors together. Paul George is not stopping Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is number 2 in the league right now. He is younger and he will pass LeBron in the next 2 years. People may not notice if they're on the same team. But if you don't believe Kevin Durant will be better than LeBron in the next couple years, then you're not paying attention. He's a 7-footer who shoots way better and is now playing defense. That's a scary thought. Don't be against him, be with him. Team up. Get Zinger behind you. Or get DeAndre Jordan behind you. And just get role players. That is what you need to do. Because he does that. He teams up with Durant. And he continues to play at the level he's been playing at, which is impressive at his age. He will win 2 more titles. And I'm also cutting a little short. I really believe he needs to have a 3-peat at some point. Because Jordan did 2 of them. But I will take a repeat. 2 championships. I will take 2 championships wins. He needs 2 more. He needs 5. And honestly, he kind of needs them to be no doubters. Like, he needs to win them. Like, perfect scenario for him and Durant, they go to the Knicks, they beat the Warriors the next 2 years. I will call him the GOAT if he can pull off winning 2 more titles. I don't care he gets there. I care he wins. You want to put down the MJ debates? He needs to win. He could go to the finals the rest of his career. But if he never gets over the hump and wins at least 5, like, he needs to be at least 1 short. Like, he wins 3 the rest of his career, but goes to, say, he has 5 seasons left in him, probably at most, of real competitive play. He could end up going to 14 finals. But if he only wins 3 of them, I mean, come on. At a certain point, he's got to finish the deed, correct? I mean, that's what people were saying about MJ until he pulled off 2 3-peats. Like I said, I go both ways. I go both sides. I can take a real argument, a legit argument. Jordan played better defenses. LeBron played better offenses. It's what their era is. It is. It truly is. It's what their era is. One had better defense, one had better offense. Jordan's played more Hall of Famers because we know who is in the Hall of Fame. Jordan's also played with more Hall of Famers. But LeBron's played with quite a few All-Stars now. Kyrie, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love. Add to the list. And technically he played with a couple others out of their prime. That doesn't matter. Ray Allen, who I was just talking about, I just forgot just now. But if LeBron wants to be the GOAT, in my opinion, he needs to go to 2 more and win 2 more. Team up with Durant, get the help, because 10 years from now, nobody's going to hold it against him teaming up with Durant in the end. No one holds, well, they do. I don't hold it against him. He teamed up with Bosh and Wade. I hold it against him that he decided to do a 1-hour special to decide it. Just go do your business. You made the decision once already, do it again. Team up with a Hall of Famer. Go win your 2 titles. Now, I will possibly null and void this if he, for some reason, finds a way just to join the stacked Warriors. That might be a little too much. And if that's the case, he needs to 3-peat with him. And then I'll call him the GOAT. But he needs to join up with Durant. He needs to go to New York, maybe the Sixers. I don't know. I don't know how great they really are because 3 of them are made out of absolute glass. But make smart decisions. Go get a Hall of Famer. Go get on a team you can win with that has a big to back you up, a real big to back you up. And get the most out of your team. You don't have to make them better. You just have to get the most out of them. In other words, I'm saying, LeBron, You want to be the GOAT, you first got to become an asshole. You got to be a donkey. You got to be the ass. No one cares that you're great in the locker room if you can't get the job done and win. Michael went 6-0. Michael is considered the GOAT, and you're chasing his ghost. Well, you have to prove he's not a ghost, and ghosts aren't real. Go team up with Durant, get the job done. You do that, you go win 2 titles, I will call you the GOAT. Till that time.
What time is it? Tea time!